Von Bonn. Herzlich willkommen, die Fechter im Halbfinale. Alessio Fechtowani, Italien. Garrett Meinhardt, USA. Die Gepäckflüge wird von Tim Bartenhagen und Marcel Lagarde.
Welcome to Bonn and the World Cup of 2019. It's men's foil on show today, and we are down to the semi-finals. As you can see, the fencers are out and being presented to the crowd. We will see Alessio Fechtowani of Italy going up against Garrett Meinhardt of the USA first, and that will be followed by Andrea Cassara against Julien Mertin. I'm Karen Bashier, and joining me in the commentary box for these medal matches here in Bonn is the fencing podcast, Sean Walton. Sean, what a tremendous lineup we've got for the finals.
Yeah, a couple of cracking fights to look forward to in the semis, and yeah, hard to pick a winner out of the four.
Oh, you've picked me to the post there. I was going to ask you. Look, let's focus on semi-final number one. Alessio Fechtowani of Italy, the world number one, 2018 world champion, and a leading light in a strong Italian team, up against today's leading light in the USA's team, the world number 5, Garrett Meinhardt. Go on. I want to hear who you think's going to win it.
Okay, well, if you're forcing me to take a firm commitment to one, I'm probably going to put my money on Fechtowani. It's maybe a slightly unimaginative choice. He is world number one, but he is a serial winner, and that's why he's world number one, and that's why I'm going to back him for this fight.
Well, you heard it here first as Tim Bartenhagen, our referee, gets the fencers to the line. It's time for the semi-finals here at the 2019 Bonn World Cup. So Garrett Meinhardt, he's been up in the world's top 16, up in the world's top 10 even for quite a few years now. But as you said, hasn't necessarily got the gold medals that one would expect to come with that high and lofty seeding.
Yeah, it's slightly surprising. He's been in and around the top 16 for the best part of a decade, I think. And yet he only has one senior title, excluding zonal championships in that time. He won Tokyo, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago.
2014.
Medals regularly, but doesn't quite manage to take the wins you would expect. I mean, it's amazing because he's a beautiful fencer to watch. I'm a big fan of his style.
Yeah, I think the consistency, though, is that he is a regular in that top 16 and top 8, perhaps more so than any other. But yeah, not quite getting up onto the top of the podium often enough. Can he change that here? It's been a bit of a battle for Alessio Fechtowani today, though.
Yeah, he's made it look hard work. Not a whole load of really convincing wins, but he's found a way to win, and that's kind of one of the sort of defining features of his fencing over the last few years, is that even when he doesn't look on his very best form, he's smart. He'll work out his opponent's weaknesses, spot the opportunity, pick the right time to do things, and get the win.
Well, he's eased his way into fights throughout the day here today, but Meinhardt seems keen on making sure that he is on the money straight away here. Already 6 hits between the two of them in the first minute. It's a pretty high hit rate for Fechtowani today.
Yeah, he's usually relatively patient with his tactics, but I think Meinhardt's much more action, and he'll be quite keen to see this fight skip along at a decent pace, I would think.
These two have met multiple times, and Fechtowani has by far the better head-to-head. 86% of the fights won by Fechtowani, but the last time they met was at the Grand Prix in Shanghai in May of this year. So last season, but this calendar year, Facconi did win that, but only just 15-14.
Yeah, I'm slightly surprised that the balance of the matches is so heavily in Facconi's favour. As I say, I'm a big fan of Meinhardt's fencing, and he does regularly produce strong performances at World Cups and Grand Prix, and for Facconi to have such a strong record against him just slightly surprised me.
Well, Meinhardt has pressed the button, the go button early on in the fight. He's forced Facconi out. What happened there? Did he pick up the right away with a beat, or?
Yeah, picked it up with a beat and then multiple disengages, I think, while Facconi's fishing for the blade.
Stepping in with a closing counter-attack that time.
Yeah, Facconi slightly loses control of things on his attack there, and Meinhardt spots a moment to step in and force the miss.
Now, you've got to say, when you see these pictures, what a fabulous job the events crew have done here. This was your normal, regular setup just 15 minutes ago, and now it looks like a gala finale.
Yeah, it's a lovely setting, actually. It is largely a kind of big industrial sports hall for most of the day, but when we get to the finals, it looks great.
Well, here's our new special feature on Fencing Vision TV. We get to look at what the referees are looking at on the video replay. And there's even a ref cam, Sean. We get to see the referees' faces up front and close. And that was Tim Bardenhagen, who's the floor referee for this match, and Basel El Nagar of Egypt on the video. Tim, of course, from Germany.
Yes, most of the time we only see the back of the referee's head, so it's actually quite nice to see them at work when they're carrying out their video reviews.
It's been a tough day for Greg Macianis, the head coach of the men's foil program in the USA, with all the normal names that we're used to seeing at the end of the tournament, apart from Garrick Meinhardt going out early on. Macianis and Bowden dropping out today, and Nick Itking, who's the rising star, also going out in the 16. But Miles Chamberlain-Watson didn't even make it through to the 64. So the weight of US fencing on Garrick Meinhardt's shoulders.
Yeah, probably overall, I mean, even if Garrett were to win, looking at the sort of bigger picture, we'd probably say it's a slightly disappointing day for the USA fencers.
Nice to have an immediate chance to bite back, though, tomorrow, given what the USA did last season on the men's foil Team World Cup circuit.
Yeah, I mean, they've been absolutely the dominant team during the course of this this Olympiad. They had an undefeated World Cup season, not last season, but the season before, and I think they won 4 out of 5 last year, and capping that with the first World Championships win in Budapest in summer.
Big celebrations that day for them, and I think for a few days afterwards as well, actually. But, they're going to have one eye on this Olympic qualifier, but they're in a very strong position. It's a bit strange to talk about Olympic qualification on a World Cup individual day, because it's first done by teams, and you have to say Italy and the USA are pretty odds-on to make qualification here, and you've got to say that both of these fencers are likely to not just feature but be very important parts of the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Facconi's been world number 1 for the last couple of years. He was world champion in 2018, and is, well, despite the fact that Daniele Ghisarozzo, his teammate, is the reigning Olympic champion, Facconi's pretty much the man in the Italian men's foil team at the moment.
And he's there with Filippo Romagnoli, the coach, his coach, having a chat in this break.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure when he started working with Filippo, but it's been hugely successful. He spent a long time as a a sort of stalwart of the Italian squad, but not making the team. Didn't make the team for Rio, but since then he's been absolutely on fire.
Certainly is. He's an absolutely beautiful fencer to watch as well. Down at the other end, we didn't quite get good sight, but it was Greg Macialis, the coach in the box for Gerrit Meinhardt, recently married during the summer to Lee Kiefer, yes, of women's foil prowess. And we're underway in the second period here. Facconi's been forced to fence by an exploratory Meinhardt. He's really going after this one. He might not necessarily be pressing all the time, but he's forced Fecconi to come out and play a little bit more of an intense game than he's been used to today.
Yeah, it's all action. There's no bouncing about, taking his time and thinking about it with Gerrit Meinhardt. He does dictate the pace of the fight pretty much all the time, and Fecconi's responded well to it. It may not be his first choice of rhythm for the fight, but he's not thrown by it.
It's a nice attack, though, from Meinhardt, just skipping away from Fecconi, opening up the space. Fecconi finished his last step. Meinhardt was on top of him. Oof.
Quick hand from Gerrit Meinhardt there.
Blindingly fast.
It's off target, but Fecconi a little flat-footed there.
Big crowd here. Been supporting Benny Kleibrink throughout the day. Didn't quite make it through to this finals session, but they've stayed here. A knowledgeable crowd in Bonn. The 48th running of this particular competition, and that is a lovely 10th hit from Gerrit Meinhardt.
Yeah, he's really finding his range with the attack in this second period, and he's clawed back a two-hit deficit to go one ahead.
He seems to almost be stepping too far out of distance, but it lures Fecconi on, and then when Meinhardt starts his attack, that just stops Fecconi dead on his feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's very quick, but it's not a simple attack. I mean, he's finding his way through. He's drawing the parry and getting the reaction from Fecconi.
Oh, what? So he's basically opening up the distance to find the space to get round the parries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hard to do when the distance is as short as there. But yeah, this tactic of breaking distance briefly to give himself the space to work in is working well for him.
And finally, Fecconi lands one of his trademark hits, picking up the blade high and then coming down in prime with the riposte. Nothing between the pair here. And as the fight goes on, you have to start favouring the fencer on the right, who's been in this position throughout the day.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think Gerrit made a slight mistake there, looking for that attack when the distance was too short.
Well, Tim Badenhagen deciding to go and have a look at this one of his own accord. There he is. Basil Lagar on the right. And this is what they are looking at. So first the full speed version of it, and that was enough for Tim Badenhagen. He's come back already to the centre of the piste and gives the hit for Meinhardt on the attack.
Yeah, that was my gut feeling, and seeing the replay, you do see a pause, a hesitation from Fecconi, and Meinhardt launching the attack.
Didn't really give us enough time to get into that because Tim Badenhagen had one look at it and said, yep, that's what I thought in real time. So Fecconi has snuck back into the lead here. Pinned onto his back line now. Meinhardt can't go backwards. Now the attack still given for Meinhardt, and it's now Fecconi's turn to ask for a video review. Sean, Let's go and have a look at what the referees are looking at.
Yeah, for a terrible moment there, I thought you were going to ask me what I thought in that one. Yeah, I'm reluctant to call until I see it in slow motion.
Here it is.
Well, Cooney's saying that Meinhardt stops about there, and that he attacks.
It's about momentum, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does Meinhardt's momentum break? I don't think it does. It does sometimes look like it's a stop in slow motion, but you have to go with your gut, and that's basically what Tim Badenhagen has done. And they are square again.
Nice hit. Yeah, keeping close in defence, moving backwards. Again, spots that little pause, little hesitation. Picks it off with a stop hit. Oh, now if Coney not happy here.
Yeah, so he feels there are two movements here. I think he's right, but
yep.
I'm not sure that he picks up the right of way. Here you go, Sean.
Yeah, still not clear. Let's have another look.
They're having a good look at this one. I fancy they'll slow it down now. Here we go.
No, I think seeing it in slow motion is actually, occasionally it's a bit of a distraction and be slightly misleading, but that does look more and more like Meinhardt's hit the more I see it.
Just a feel seeing it live, and now I'm not so sure, so I've gone the other way. And Tim Badenhagen sticks with his decision. Quite right, Sean. Attack Meinhardt. He's one away from going through to the gold medal match here in Bonn.
Yeah, Facune's been here before though. He'll not panic at 14-12 down. He'll find a way. That's what he does.
Meinhardt pressing now. Coach Macialis is encouraging him to press him into the back of the box. But Meinhardt opens up the piece a bit more and lands the winning hit. He takes a real corker to start our medal session here in Bonn. Garrick Meinhardt is through to the final of the 2019 Loewe von Bonn.
Yeah, tremendous performance from Garrick Meinhardt in that fight. I did stake my claim to Feconi being my favourite for the fight, but a real quality combination of tactics and the way to implement them. Hitting with attack, hitting with defence, hitting with stop hits, everything in there that you could possibly want.
Using the whole piece?
Yep.
Yeah, really great stuff, Meinhardt. Well, he's only got one World Cup or major trophy, gold medal. Perhaps he's going to get a second title here in Bonn. Feconi will be standing on the podium a little bit later on, collecting his bronze medal, and he will retain the world #1 spot. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow in that Italian team.
Yeah, indeed. The Italians have had well, I suppose by their own standards, a slightly slowish start to Olympic qualification. They finished third at the European Championships, losing to Germany in the semi-final, which was a bit of a surprise. And then they lost to France in the semi-final at the World Championships. But if you look at the strength of the squad, I would say, almost regardless of the rankings, that they are the second best team, USA being the dominant men's foil team at the moment. And Italy, if they get it all together, are certainly capable of beating anyone at the moment.
Yeah.
And Feconi are at the absolute heart of that.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Yes, so the shaky start by their very, 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 very high standards.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did say it's harsh to say, but
yeah. It's the facts though. They haven't performed as well as you would expect, but you just got to fancy them to right that ship and qualify automatically for the Olympic Games and go on and be serious medal contenders for Tokyo 2020.
Yeah, very much so. When it all works, it's an amazing team.
real battlers, and a joy to watch. But we have to move swiftly back to the semi-finals here in Bonn. Let's not cast our eyes too far ahead to Tokyo just. Let's enjoy the process of getting there.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it is kind of easy to be, well, kind of almost distracted by Olympic qualification and getting to the Olympics and producing your big performances there. But the World Cups and Grand Prix that are part of that process are fascinating in their own right, and there's some glorious fencing going on here.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. And just my sort of last 2 penalties on that first semi-final. Both fencers fairly uncomplicated in terms of their behaviour on the piece. They just get on and fence. There's no screaming, there's no shouting at the referees. If they want a video review, they very politely ask for it. So we've seen sort of the gentlemen of the semi-finals.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Not to say that these two aren't gentlemen, but sometimes you will get a little bit more emotional vigour from Andrea Cassara.
Certainly when he first burst onto the scene, he was the kind of bad boy of men's foil, effectively. But he's matured, I think is probably the right word, over the course of his career to become sort of senior statesman of Italian men's foil.
Yep, certainly passionate though, and a jolly decent chap. I can tell you, I've got to know Andrea over the last few years, and he is an absolute pleasure to be with and a brilliant, brilliant fencer. Time now for the second semi-final featuring Andrea Cassara. In fact, it's already got underway. He's up against Julien Mertin, who has had an up and down career. He does appear on podiums every now and again. But only has 2 titles, 1 Grand Prix, 1 world title, I believe. And compared to Cassara, well, Sean, you were talking about that record earlier on. It's phenomenal. Yeah, I mean,
Cassara's record at World Cups and Grand Prix is just ridiculous. 17 World Cup wins, was 11 Grand Prix. It's an amazing record. Julien Mertin, nothing to compare to that, but on his day, when he gets it all right, he can beat anyone. I mean, he did it earlier this year when he won in Anaheim in convincing style as well, and looked absolutely fantastic. And then he'll turn up at the next event and look really ordinary. If he could produce that kind of form consistently, he'd be right at the top of the rankings. But he's kind of never really done it. As somebody who's been in and around the French team for quite a long time, he's perhaps not quite produced the sort of consistent high-level performances that he's capable of.
No, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, winning the World Cup in Havana in 2012, he's got medals that date back to 2010, a bronze in Copenhagen at the World Cup there, but it is sporadic. But you have to say, he's had a couple in quick succession. Paris last year, bronze medal, and as you mentioned, the gold medal at Anaheim. And back on the podium here, so perhaps his most consistent part of his career so far. Yeah,
maybe so. I mean, he's 31 now, currently ranked 22 in the world. But yeah, maybe he's finally got it all together, and he's stretched out a decent lead here at the start of the fight against Cassara. But again, it's all happening at high speed. Less than 30 seconds in, we've got 9 hits on the board, and 7 of them from Mertin.
And it does seem to be the way at men's foil at the moment, whereas it had looked like it might slow down a couple of years back. It's gone completely other way, perhaps forced by this new wave of, well, not so new. You can't call Timur Safin and Danny Garozzo the new wave. They're well established now. They're perhaps the leaders of forcing these fights to happen quite quickly.
Yeah, you're right. I think there was a spell when men's foil was a bit more patient, but increasingly we've got fencers that are prepared to force the pace, and I think it does make the sport more exciting as a result.
Absolutely.
Hard to say that it's a golden age in men's foil. I mean, I always kind of hesitate to say that about any time.
Well, when you were fencing, obviously.
Clearly, yeah. Not that I had any contribution to that, but yeah, thanks for the idea. But yeah, Mertin absolutely flying here.
Yeah, on fire, the Frenchman. So we've got one semi-finalist booked in Gerrit Meinhardt. Perhaps not the serial winner that you'd expect. It looks like Julien Mertin might be joining him there.
Yeah, if he does, I mean, it's interesting that a Meinhardt-Mertin final would, between them, have 2 World Cup or Grand Prix wins. 3 World Cup Grand Prix or wins. And hard to pick,
they're increasing
but
that by 25% in this event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Potentially. Don't write Andrea Cassara off. We saw Giorgio Avila go 7-0 down against Jeremy Cadeau earlier on today and fight his way back to win. It's certainly not beyond Andrea Cassara to find his way back from just 6 hits down. So the assistant referee has his hand up. That's Basil Alnagar, and it's for covering, and that's because of the turn, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely. And distance closes, and Cassara trying to get out of the way and having a bit of a wriggle in the course of doing that. Covers with his back arm and picks up a card.
Yeah, can't use your back arm to cover target. You're covering the valid target area, making it off target, and that's what you get the warning for. Well, signs of life in the Italian.
Yeah, nice attack and preparation there. Fast finish with the hand and getting the call to split those actions that hit at the same time.
Wow, can the Italian string together a couple more and put himself right back in this fight?
Yeah, with so much time still to go, getting back to within 4 is a real good start, and you'll feel that's definitely in reach now.
Now, has the referee called halt? Well, alongside that, the assistant referee has put his hand up. I think the referee had called halt, and I don't think the hit should stand, but the assistant referee, Basil Alnagar, is indicating covering again, and the referee is going to give a red card to the Italian. Wang Bo of China is shown the card, and now he's been asked to go and have a look at the video, and Sean?
Yeah, I think he's in the course, just as he draws level with Mertin, there's a definite twitch of the back shoulder to bring the arm in front, and I think the referee's got this, well, the assistant referee's got this absolutely spot on, and I don't see any change coming here in the decision.
And you're
red
spot
card
on
stands.
yourself, yeah. So, a couple of incidences of covering target from the Italian has increased the lead to 5 points for Julien Mertin. Pin to the back line. How on earth did he get a single light there, Sean?
Yeah, spotted the way the attack's coming in, closes the line, blocks out, and hits with a kind of blocking counter-attack.
Well,
Cassara that time drawing that attack on prep or counter-attack and picking it up and making a hit in the shoulder. Kind of signature Cassara move. And when they get close there, Cassara being super careful to keep the back arm out of the way.
landing a neat one there as well. Back to within 4. Oh, Mertin did all the hard work. It's the timing from Cassara, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. He spotted the absolute right moment to jump in there and give himself time to block out Mertin's attempt to finish the hit. And in the end, it's one line, really straightforward. And
but looking from Mertin's point of view, he got to the right distance, he got to the right spot, and then just didn't react quick enough.
Yeah, it'd be one of those ones like, oh, almost there. If only I could just have finished that. But the hit's really not there.
Yeah. We talked about momentum earlier on, and that's where the momentum stopped for Mertin. And now Caceres seems to have the wind in his sails. Mertin hasn't scored for a little while now.
Yeah, I mean, the Caceres got the wind behind him certainly, but Mertin's still with a healthy lead, and it's getting late-ish in the fight. All he needs is probably a hit here for him to feel I'm close to the finish now.
I can get here, yeah, I can get there. But the intensity from Andrea Caceres is keeping Mertin busy.
Yeah, I mean, the whole fight's been relentless. I mean, we're only a minute and a half in, and we're looking at 11-8. It's a frantic pace.
Well, given the pace of the first semi-final, what a final we have ahead of us tonight.
Yeah, well, we're a little late in starting, but I think we may catch up.
Yeah. Well, Mertin does get that 12th hit, and that does put him, or does he?
Oh, no.
Referee decided against giving that, or gave it the other way?
No, yeah, Caceres attack off target.
And we have another card coming for Caceres and covering. And not only does it look like the referee is going to give the hit to Mertin, but to rub salt into the wound, there is the 13th hit for Mertin on another red card.
Yeah, that's doubly painful for Caceres. He got back to within 4, and suddenly Mertin hits with the riposte.
Well, hold on to that thought. Tim Bardenhagen, the other assistant referee down at Caceres' end, signals a tilting of the head and thus covering of target for Julien Mertin. You cannot get a card and score a hit at the same time.
Yeah, just when he thought he was almost at the finish, getting 14, that's scrapped and he gets a yellow card.
Yeah, now, for me, it's just Mertin's just being a little one-dimensional. He's just looking for that moment for the counter-action, and Caceres has seen it, he spotted it, and he just started his attack a little bit slower, drew the counter and finished.
Same again, yeah, doesn't feel that perhaps Mertin's looking for a cheap hit or two to get to the finish. But he's probably going to have to work a good bit harder to get those last couple of hits.
Caceres, I think he needs to work right away until he's got 16 hits. Beautiful.
Yeah, feints the counter-attack, draws the attack from Caceres and hits with a parry post. Nice hit.
So nice with a second intention from the Frenchman. One away from the gold medal match here in Bonn. Forcing the counter, and now Andrea Caceres calls for a video review of the tilting head covering target, and so Wang Bo goes to the video. And so do we.
Yeah, and this will be a hit if it's given. There's a definite tilt to the body,
Yeah.
whether that's covering or not. I'm not so sure.
Well, I was talking to Florian Jorge, one of the top foil referees earlier on today, and he said tilting the head covers the shoulder, and that is valid target. And maybe the fencer's not necessarily going for that particular spot, but it is still covering.
Yeah, an unexpected kind of side effect of a bit of body evasion.
Well, referees had a look at it and decided there's no need for a card. Fencers shake hands. One light on the box. Julien Mertin has made it through to the final here in Bonn. He had a bit of a wobble at 11 hits, but he's seen it over the line, and he will go into the gold medal match with Gerrit Meinhardt.
Yeah, got off to an absolute flying start, built up a huge lead. As you say, had a bit of a wobble in the middle, but finished strongly.
Absolutely did, and Gerrit Meinhardt will face Julian Mertin for gold here at the 2019 Bonn Men's Foil World Cup, their first World Cup of the new season and resumption of Olympic qualifying here in Germany. We will have the customary 10-minute break to give Julian Mertin time to recover from that brilliant semi-final win. We'll also leave you with the pictures here in Bonn, but Sean and I will be back for the gold medal match in around about 10 minutes' time.
Ja, liebe Sportlerinnen und Sportler, liebe Mitglieder des OFC, ich freue mich sehr, dass ich heute schon zum 3. Mal dabei sein kann, wenn hier der Loewe von Bonn ausgefochten wird. Jedes Mal eine super spannende Veranstaltung, die mit großem Engagement hier gemacht wird. Das ist einfach total fantastisch. Für die Stiftung Sport der Sparkasse Bonn darf ich jetzt auch schon zum 3. Mal einen Scheck überreichen, diesmal über 8.500 €. Der Verein bekommt die Unterstützung insbesondere deshalb, weil die Nachwuchsarbeit für die Fechter natürlich exorbitant teuer ist. Das wissen Sie alle viel besser als ich. Und ich freue mich sehr, dass ich Gelegenheit habe, wegen des Chefs und überhaupt hier bei dieser Veranstaltung dabei sein zu können. Vielen, vielen Dank, Frau Nettersheim, für Ihr Engagement und auf ein spannendes Finale.
Ich möchte mich ganz herzlich bei der Sparkassenstiftung bedanken für diese immer wieder gern gesehene Unterstützung, die bitter notwendig ist. Naja, schon darstellte, die Nachwuchsarbeit ist mit das Teuerste, was wir im Sport haben können. Und aber auch das Wichtigste, denn nichts ist schöner, wenn man in die Halle kommt und sieht die ganzen jungen Fechter mit dem Engagement und dem Ehrgeiz und die Glanz in den Augen fechten. Ich möchte mich ganz herzlich bedanken und ich möchte mich auch auf diesem Wege mal bei den zahlreichen Helfern bedanken, die diesen Löwen hier erstmal möglich gemacht haben. Das ist der größte Löwe, den wir hier in der Halle hatten. Und wir haben ganz viel Engagement von unseren Ehrenamtlern gehabt, sonst wäre es nicht geklappt. Ganz herzlichen Dank auch an Sie.
Ganz herzlichen Dank nochmal, Herr Meier und Nettersheim. In wenigen Minuten wird es dann auch nachher schon weitergehen mit dem Finale um den 48. Löwen von Bonn. im Finale. February 2019 Bonn. Final Loewe von Bonn 2019.
Well, here we go. It's time for gold here at the 2019 Bonn Men's Foil World Cup. Julien Martin on the left, going up against Gerrit Meinhardt on the right. France versus the USA for the gold medal here at the first Men's Foil World Cup of the season. I'm Karim, and joining me in the commentary box is my great pleasure to reintroduce the fencing podcast, Sean Walton. Sean, 2 semi-finals, 150 billion miles per hour. Can we expect the same here?
Yeah, I think there's every chance. Mertin's usually a little more patient, but it was high-speed stuff from him and produced a big win for him against Casara. Meinhardt's always a bit more all-action, so I think this is going to be another high-paced fight for the final.
I think you're right, and seeing as both of us think that, it's probably going to take 9.5 minutes to finish, but let's see what they can do.
Yeah, we've cursed it.
Yeah, it's Michael Dull of Poland who's going to officiate this one. Good on him. He's been working hard all day, and he's very respected by his colleagues. It's Basil Al-Nagar of Egypt who will be on the video. Time to go for gold here in Bonn. Well, we said 100 miles an hour, and here we go. Straight out of the blocks. Meinhardt off the line on the attack. Martin in with a quick counter.
Yeah, 2 seconds in, we got our first hit. No hanging around.
Well, after the halt, so no hit will be given there.
Yeah, to the parry as Martin tumbles off the piste, and although he lands the hit, too long of a pause and nothing given. And Martin absolutely flying. And we got our first video review.
Well, we get to see our new feature. Slowed down to 50% here. You're thinking, Sean?
I'd like another look.
Yeah, me too. There's a meeting of the blades. That parry riposte doesn't hit, right? Does Martin pick up the right of way?
There's a bit of a pause there, but whether Meinhardt doesn't pick the moment quickly enough to launch his own attack, and hit stands for Martin.
Hit given to Martin, this time by the referee, and now it is Gerrit Meinhardt's turn to ask the referee to go and look at the video.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get this right, otherwise he's burnt his video reviews in well, no time at all. May live to regret that. Yeah, I think he's asking if Martin makes 2 actions there, but I'm not sure that he does.
But does Meinhardt stop in his forward motion? Does he start first?
No, I do get. Well, my feeling was that Martin does start first, and Meinhardt, I think, is asking the question about whether there's a hesitation or 2 actions to it.
And it looks like your call was right. Yeah, you were right. That's what Meinhardt was calling for, and that's what he got. We get a spurious white light come up.
Meinhardt on the board with a counter riposte. Meinhardt looking for the line, but picked up by Mertin and finishes quickly off the beat. Meinhardt missing with the riposte as Mertin ducks underneath it and hits with the remise. And a second parry there from Meinhardt, hitting with the riposte to take it within 2. And a running broken time attack from Mertin finds the target as Mertin's fishing for it. And again, Meinhardt missing with the riposte and Mertin picking up the remise. Lovely parry riposte there. Yeah, Meinhardt looking for the stop hit there, but still Mertin's attack. So target. This time Meinhardt spots what looks like the start of another running broken time attack and jumps in. And this time Mertin can't get the point on.
Well, counter-action there from Julien Mertin of France opens up the gap to 2 points. But we said it was going to be fast, Sean.
Yeah, they're not hanging about. Both fencers looking to go for it. I don't see that changing. It's worked for both of them all day.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And Meinhardt has got to find a way of pushing Mertin back a little bit to open up that space that he was finding in the semi-finals. But Mertin is keen not to go much past his or backwards from his on-guard line.
Yeah, he's only gone all the way to the back of the piece once or twice so far. And you can see his immediate reaction on Ali is to go forward.
Seems to be doing, I suppose, what people call counter-time action, but he's going in when he doesn't have the right of way by the looks of things.
Yeah, I mean, he's prepared to draw the stop hit or counter attack from Meinhardt and either hit with the parry riposte or duck inside it.
So if Meinhardt now opens up the piece a little bit, he's going to have to go into his own half to do that. He gives him the space to try and launch an attack from just that little bit further away, which was working for him in the semi-finals. But here, Mertin, as soon as Meinhardt steps back, he's closing that distance up.
Yeah, exactly. Meinhardt steps back and Mertin doesn't let him get away, so he never gives him that room.
It's an impressive performance from Julien Mertin in the last minute or so. He's really started to open things up. Remember, Julien Martin, 22 ranked in the world, 31-year-old from France, has won 1 World Cup and 1 Grand Prix in his career. Gerrit Meinhardt is the world number 5 at age 29. Whilst he's picked up 3 Pan Am titles as a senior, he's only got 1 title, a Grand Prix title at that, and that achieved relatively recently. Sorry, not so recently as Martin's last win.
Yeah, exactly. Martin won the Grand Prix in Anaheim about halfway through last season, whereas Meinhardt's last title outside the Pan Ams 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 years ago.
2014, yeah.
But Martin's powering through at the moment.
He really is.
And he's done it the hard way as well. He's 22 in the world. He's had to go through pools. He didn't get the bye straight through to the second day after the pools, so he had to battle through another couple of preliminary Ds just to get to the second day. Just
to get to the 64 today. That was all day yesterday, so those legs will be working super hard. He's within 2 now. Today he has battled through Kwong of Korea, Masialis of the USA, perhaps the most impressive win, but then taking out his teammate Owen Lepeshu in the 16 before knocking out Benny Kleibrink, the home favourite, in the quarter-finals. And then, of course, coming through that amazing semi-final against Andrea Cassara. And that is a lovely action. And that's all about hand speed, isn't it? That's all about reaction and hand speed.
Yeah, I mean, they both missed their initial actions, but he was immediately on it with the remise and a single light. Takes him to within 1 of taking the title.
Julien Martin on the brink of the 2019 Bonn Men's Foil World Cup gold. Oh, a brilliant finish from him. What a lovely last hit. Sean, that's a thing of beauty.
It is, absolutely. As he has done pretty much all fight, off the on-guard line, steps, sees Meinhardt starting to look and produces a beautiful disengage and a full-size lunge to finish the fight and take the title. Fantastic.
Classy, classic hit from Julien Martin. He is the Bonn Men's Foil World Cup 2019 champion.
Yeah, Julien Martin, Lion of Bonn.
Yeah, the Lion of Bonn, the Lofa von Bonn. And superb. We talked about the fact that he's been up and down through his career, but going through the most consistent part of his career, having picked up so many medals for him in such a short space of time. And it's great to see Enzo Lefort and the rest of the French team going to hug him. I can see Jeremy Cadeau, Owen Lepeshu, who he beat. But that's great to see. But Sean, he's found a rich vein of form. Very critical time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even coming into this weekend, despite his win in Anaheim, he would be the fourth fencer in the French team. Effectively, he's pretty much done the job of tail and water carrier for most of the last season when he has been in the team. But this will boost him right up, and there'll be some decisions to make come team selection time about which 3 fence in the individual.
Emeric Clot, the head coach for the men's foil program in France, has a nice problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice problem.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, there is going to be a little bit of respite now while the athletes get shipped off to sign bits of paper, and for some of them they have to go off to anti-doping, as is the thing now with top sport. As a sport, an Olympic sport like fencing, we include anti-doping in all our international programs. But we will have a break before the medal ceremonies. Sean, I'm not going to ask you to hang around for the medal ceremonies. I'm sure someone is waiting with a nice supper for you somewhere at some point.
I think, well, I hope that's the case anyway, yes.
Well, Sean Walton, thank you very much. Any chance I can tease you back into the commentary box tomorrow?
Yes, you probably can.
Excellent news. Sean Walton, thank you very much, and we will speak to you tomorrow. Have a great evening. Well, ladies and gents, that is it from the fencing action, but don't go far. We're going to stay on air. I'll take a little break from commentary until we have the medal ceremonies here in Bonn.
Hier liegt, weiß man auch nicht. Da steht blau drauf. Nee, danke nicht. Also blau ist dann mal da hinten, ne?
All fencers to be honored, please come to the main stand. Alessio Facconi, Garrett Meinhardt, Andrea Casana, and Julian Martin. All fencers, please come down to the center court. Alessio Facconi, please come down so that we can start with the medal ceremony. beim diesjährigen Herrenbrett-Weltcup. Dritter Platz, Alessio Focconi, Italien.
Well, here we go. It's time for the medal ceremony here in Bonn, the 2019 men's foil season. 2019-2020 men's foil season has begun. The third step of the podium is occupied by the Italian pairing of Alessio Focconi and Andrea Cassara.
Ebenfalls dritter Platz, bronze medalist, third place, Andrea Cassara, Italy.
Going one by one here. So that is Andrea Cassara high-fiving his teammate Alessio Focconi.
Zweiter Platz, Silbermedaille. Second place runner, silver medalist, Garrick Meinhardt, USA.
Well, he battled his way through the day. This feisty American saved the blushes of the men's individual team from the USA, who had a under par day by their very high standards. Garrick Meinhardt collecting the silver medal here in Bonn. And his run of form, the most consistent of his career, the gold medal and the Lion of Bonn is Julian Martins. And look at that, Catherine Defonnier, the FIE representative here on the Medical Commission, but also president of the French Fencing Federation, gets to present him with that beautiful trophy. And of course, the medals and gifts. He finished with an absolute blinder of a disengaged lunge attack. A beautiful hit to score the gold here in Bonn. The first title of the men's foil international season goes to Julien Martins of France. And we'll leave you with the pictures and the French national anthem.
So, please stand up for the national anthem of France.
Here at the 2019 Bonn Men's Foil World Cup. Standing with him on the podium, Garrick Meinhardt in silver medal position, Andrea Cassara and Alessio Focconi with the bronze medal. Thank you very much for joining us today. Tomorrow we have the all-important team competition. It starts bright and breezy at 8:30 here in the table of 32. It's an incomplete table of 32 and we won't be bringing you live coverage of that. Our live coverage will begin in the round of 16, which starts at 9:30 Central European time. Do come back tomorrow, but thanks for joining us today.
Genau. Ja. Ist auch bekannt als gleich. Ja, kann man